to win a race in this little thing. Got a couple new projects coming into the shop. These guys came down from Salt Lake. Let's go out and have a look, see what we got going on here. That's awesome right there. What are you rough cowboys doing? Are you lost?
Brought you some more stuff here.
Dude, I like stuff, especially when it's like this. This is like a whole truck of gold. I mean, that thing is crazy right there. But when you got a Model A Ford and a 12-valve Dodge, oh, sorry, that's not a 12-valve, that's 24-valve. 24-valve. But stick shift, that's a load of gold. So yeah, you guys might recognize these guys from Paul's channel. Who else you been on?
We did Matt's tow truck.
Matt's tow truck, plumbed it.
Put some hoses on the Nugget.
And Paul's truck,
Paul's,
obviously.
the FJ.
And what city are you guys in up there?
Grantsville, Utah.
Grantsville, Utah.
Yep.
So their Dodge truck lost fifth gear, and we're gonna, yeah, look at that. It's creeping.
Yeah.
I like it.
We like to live on the wild side.
Living on the edge. These guys live on the edge. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Is that thing stick shift? It's just letting it roll. Anyway, they brought this thing down here because pretty sure it's got a chipped tooth on fifth gear, and the nut has probably fell off, or both. So yeah, we're gonna pull that out and clean it up and fix it. But then this little Model A is like a little beauty in their fleet. We're gonna give it a good go over and see if we can get it back to a little more original.
It came from Texas and then sat in a garage in Murray for about 10 years. It was a friend of mine. And
wow.
Finally ended up getting it.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you powder coat these or just paint them?
He did the wheels. He had those in the bumpers powder coated.
Nice.
That's really all he did.
And it's a 28 or 29?
29.
29 Model A sedan. So, yeah. We'll have a right good look at this thing and see what we got going on here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, these cars have a lot of wood in them. As you can see, this right here is gone. This piece here's, that board runs from there all the way back and underneath here.
Okay.
And that's what holds this.
The top of it's.
Yeah, the top's gone. But yeah, once you start on that wood, it'll be a can of worms you can't put a lid on. Woo, look at that. It's pretty clean under the hood. Pretty nice. Bottom. These fans, these are no good. That's crazy. I've only ever seen 2 of those fans.
Really?
So the metal 2-blade fans, they have some kind of like a rhythmic vibration, and the blades break off of them. Okay. They literally will shatter. There's another one I can show you here. It's like a propeller. It's actually an okay 2-blade. Now when they're 4-blade steel like this, they're okay, but the 2-blade ones, they're no good. The light bar looks factory, none of that's modified. Looks pretty good under here, no front shocks. The rear shocks aren't hooked up. Parking brake work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rare. That's good. Looks like all the linkage is here for it. Yeah, I like it. Cool car. It's the most fun you can have in an old car. Model A or a Model T.
Oh, it's fun to put all the kids in there and take them to go get,
Go get ice cream,
right,
or Toolie down through town and stop traffic.
Yep.
Cool. Well, let's unload this jewel of a Dodge. Hey, we got the thing in the garage. It barely fit between there, but we got it. So these guys are going to go check into their hut, their hogan. They'll be back over in the Model A, and we'll be headed out to dinner. All right, new day in the shop. I've been out here working since about 8. I got that 5th gear nut out for Scott over here at Elevated. He's all proud that he didn't blow it totally up, but we got a whole shop full of people. Tim, right?
Tim, yep.
Decent garage.
Decent, yeah.
Decent garage.
Not a great garage, just decent.
Whatever, just a decent garage. And
I'm Matt. I'm Tim's brother. Yep.
Tim's brother. You guys look like twins.
We are twins.
Dang. Guess that one. So yeah, we're Gonna let the silicone dry on that. We've got it all back together. But it's time to go mess with the Model A and check out Tim's truck that he's out hot rodding. So is this second road trip on this truck?
Oh, I've driven this truck from.
So that you've drove this truck for a while.
I've driven it from Florida to Alaska.
But you've got another one you're building, right?
Got another one I'm building. Yep.
Okay.
Another crew cab.
Okay.
So and then I have another crew cab that just sits there. It's already built, but I don't drive it much.
Well,
It's
let's go out and check it out. Let's check this one out that you're hot rodded down here. And yeah, it don't have air, right? The air's not working on it yet?
No, it needs charged, and I don't want to switch to 134.
You want to know a little secret?
Your
You can
eBay one?
you can use propane.
I know. Will you do it for me?
It's easy to do. So it's a pretty clean little truck. If I had a nickel for every one of these I built back in the day, I'd be rich. Looks good. G56 transmission. Yeah, you put the first gen doors with power windows. Did you power window the rear doors too?
No.
Didn't do that. Yeah, that's a tough one. I've done it. It's
Yeah. They make kits now, but it's pretty easy to stop.
yeah, it's a good looking truck.
Don't too close to the team.
Well, new day in the shop. At Old School Garage here. We got us a 29 Model A 4-door on the hoist. Still, we've got brakes working. So yesterday we did a lot of work to it. Got the brake rods all straightened out. Worked on the distributor. I think I need to tighten that. That looks like it might be loose. That could be some of the steering shimmy. But the exhaust. This poor old exhaust pipe is fragile. So yesterday while we were working on it, see if I can get you up in here, it backfired and blew this pipe out. The flange is completely rotted off of it. Got tie wire right here. So I'm going to cut this loose, get it down, try to copy this, at least this piece. We might put a glass pack on it. I don't really have anything that'll work good on a stock Model A, but I got to quiet it down so I can finish tuning it. I'm going to use it to test a bunch of carburetors. I got to test a generator. I got to test a distributor, and then the distributor in this car needs to be rebuilt. It's right there. It's pretty loose. And then we're going to tighten up some of the doors. This car's mostly wood inside, so a lot of the screws are stripped out, so I need to do some things to get the doors to tighten up. So we'll get on that today. All right, that was easy. Cut 2 wires and a clamp. That exhaust fell out. You can't believe how light this exhaust is. Like, it absolutely does not weigh. Like, I'm gonna pick that up with my hand right there. Like, it is rusted so thin, I think I could put my finger through it. Like, it's unbelievable. But anyway, this flange here that normally is held by that clamp, we're gonna have to start there. We need to make that flange, and we need to bend that radius and start with that pipe. So got a piece of 2-inch here. We're gonna take her over to the tube bending flaring machine, and I think we're gonna put the 2-inch die in. And I think I'm gonna bend the radius first and then do the flare. It's kind of a risky move to do that, because if you mess the flare up, you gotta kind of bend another piece of tubing. But I'll see if I can get the flare right the first time. So let's go have a look over here. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it goes past 90, so we're gonna go ahead and bend that just a little more. These collets. So we need the white one, and that basically goes just like that. end, I think we're pretty good. I'd like it if it had a little more ball to it. That's what these do. These put the ball in it. Maybe I'll go ahead and hit it with one of those. And we'll take it over and see how it fits. It looks good. It's got a nice ball to it. Should try it on an exhaust manifold, but anyway, you can see the flange up in there. And then that kind of goes on in that realm right there. It actually probably needs a little more. Probably needs a little more 45 on it. It's really close, but it's not quite exactly perfect how I want it. So we're gonna touch it up. There we go. Nice big 45-degree flange with a little bit of ball in the bottom. And then we'll figure out how long we want the front section. I got to figure out what muffler I'm going to put on. That's going to determine that. And we'll put that up on there. So that goes right up in there like that. That'll bolt up tight. Yeah, looks really good. Nice and high in clearance. So yeah, I'll get a muffler figured out now. And then we'll bend the tailpipe and put this thing together and weld it up. We're gonna go do a stock Model A test run up the hill here, get my little test track figured out. And then we're gonna start modifying this car. I got a high compression head coming. I got a 32 Ford carburetor. 32 carburetor's bigger. And Ren is going to hell. What do you say, Ren? Kind of hard to win a race in this little thing. Here we go. Second gear, Ren. We didn't double clutch or nothing. We just ground them gears. Did it in? Did it stop for us?
Top speed is 31.
Top speed was 31 miles an hour, so that was to the first street up over that hill.
I don't know how to work your deal.
I don't either. Ready. It's ready to go again. Full distance. It didn't give me distance. That don't matter. We'll do another one to the corner. So we'll reset that again. Top speed 31 mile an hour.
Feels like it. Feels like we're losing the floorboard.
We're losing the floor. These cars are as good off the road as they are on the road. They might be better off the road, actually. Piling rocks up here.
Gonna lose a wheel.
Lose a wheel? Don't say that. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Just the mirror.
The one you have.
It actually works. I think the Model T does better off-road than the Model A. The roads must have been getting better when they designed the Model A. The Model T, it'll take this like as fast as you want to go. It's kind of, you feel the car twisting.
I do.
Like it feels like it's, so she hasn't felt the twist of a Model T, and she just started giggling because she has her feet on the pedals, and that's where you feel it the most, because the engine is moving and the frame is moving and the seat is moving, and it literally feels like you're going to fall into pieces driving along the road.
It feels wrong.
Yeah, it's like a worm. It's just crawling along. Okay, that was test one. Now we'll put the cylinder head on it and we'll retest it. We're going to go from 4.2 to 1 to 5.5 to 1. So we'll give that a try and retest. We'll be back with you soon. Well, so it's time for the first modification of the Model A. We got the cylinder head in today. I was draining the water out, and I realized something. I'm going to take carburetor cleaner to reveal it, but this plug wire is one of those red old school racing wires. That red wire probably makes it go faster. So we got the water draining out. The water looks terrible. We're going to be sure and put coolant back in that. Here's what we got. So this is the cylinder head. And, the cylinder head, I'll compare these when I get the other one off, but essentially the combustion chamber is a lot smaller. Raises the compression ratio from 4.2 to 1 to 5.5 to 1. So, ooh, big increase for the little Model A. Anyway, should add quite a bit more horsepower. So the reason these cars had such low compression, you know, from back in the day, is because fuel was so terrible in, you know, the early teens through, you know, probably about 30 something. And believe it or not, it only had like 60 octane, 65 octane. So they needed these low compression, you know, really robust engines to deal with the quality of the fuel back then. You know, our fuel, as far as octane rating goes, is way better. We have way better additives, and I know our fuel is garbage, you know, by most standards. They say the fuel of the 70s was probably the best. The fuel of the 60s maybe even better. But compared to the fuel of the 30s, our fuel today at the pump is better than what they had in the 30s. So we're going to get this high compression head on it, then we're going to go do another road test. Then I have something else that's kind of cool, and that's a 32 Ford carburetor. We're going to test that as well. So hopefully we can get this thing to do 45 miles an hour up my little test hill. Stay tuned. Okay, now that was a fight. That was honestly one of the toughest fights I've had with a cylinder head ever. So you'll see in the time lapse, I knocked the camera off, but you're going to see the gaskets pulverized. I broke the cylinder head 2 places. It's cracked over here. These studs were just welded on, and I couldn't get the studs to turn. I knocked the time lapse off, so I had to turn it off and get it out of the way. I've got the torch out. I heated it. I had screwdrivers wedged in it. I hope I haven't hurt the block anywhere. I'm sure I've put some scars in it, but I can silicone those up. But the head's ready to lift off now. It's kind of warm, so I'm gonna have to get some gloves. But yeah, what a fight! Like I had to use every trick in the toolbox to get this thing apart. Like I thought I was gonna have to cut the studs and drill them out. It was that bad. There was definitely 3 studs that were hanging up, and I was just going to go ahead with a cutoff wheel. I knew the head was going to be ruined either way, so I just go in with a cutoff wheel and cut the studs and remove it and then drill the studs out. But that was my next option. Lift this cylinder head off and then clean up the block and evaluate it. Motor looks really good. Valves look nice. Except for that one, I don't know what's going on there. I might have done some damage to that one. Getting in there with the screwdriver. But yeah, there's the cylinder head in all its glory. What's left of it, broken. We'll compare those here in a minute. Definitely a lot of rust. Yeah, it looks like maybe I got the pry bar on here a little bit, so I'm gonna have to clean that really good and check those out, make sure none of the valves are bent. All this gasket damage, that was all me prying. Man, I really had to work that thing. It was terrible. So yeah, I'm gonna get a vacuum and clean this rust all out, and then get that gasket off, and then we'll wire wheel it all off, and then we'll scrape it. Clean these studs really good and kind of evaluate our valve situation and make sure they're tight and sealing. And motor actually ran pretty good. It just needed the extra compression for the power. We'll clean her up and show you what we did. Now that we got the head off, I'll show you. Look at the size of these combustion chambers. They're pretty deep, pretty big. They taper up into here with a little wedge. These ones, they aren't near as deep, and they're a lot tighter through here. So yeah, huge difference in compression pressure there. Plus you could surface quite a bit off of these and raise them even more. That's 5.5 to 1. That's 4.2 to 1. So yeah, pretty big improvement on compression. Well, now it's on and torqued. And the distributor's all hooked up. I think everything's in time. Water pump's on. I have not put water in it, so before I put water in it and before I put the hood back on, I'm gonna see if the old girl will start. See if it still runs as good as it did before I took it apart. So turn a little fuel on. A little timing. Oh, yeah, of course we're out of time. Timing's not hooked up. Okay, I think we're about 80%. Ren, are you ready to go test this thing? Come on, let's go. Let's go test it again. Let's see if it's faster. Let's see if it's faster, huh, Ren? We got high compression head installed. We are ready for the uphill hill climb test to see if it's got more power. Of course, we got a headwind today. We're going to be bucking a headwind uphill. So that'll help with the cooling, which I think the engine's warmer than it was the other day, so I don't know how good of a test this really is. But we'll see. Definitely makes a lot more noise. The motor's got a little more thump to it. Alright, so last time we got 31 miles an hour to the one-way street up here, so I'm gonna have to just kind of watch this because $26, $29, $30, $31, $2. Oh, it's faster. We picked up 4 miles an hour. 4 miles an hour. Put the high compression head on. So now we have to go back and put the 32 carburetor on and see what kind of difference that makes. So it definitely has more power. And honestly, today we had a headwind, so that's a factor. And the engine was warmer today. Before I fired it up right out of the driveway. Today I've had it running, and now we're going to go retorque the head. She's a real powerhouse with that there cylinder head on it. It does tractor better. I think it made quite a bit of difference. It seems to run a little better. So yeah, the high compression head is definitely worth the $400 that they cost. By the time you get a gasket and deal with all the junk, it's about $450. And I don't think we've overheated yet, so we'll pull up and throw a heat gun on it and see what the temperature is. What do you think, Grant? Huh? What do you think? You want to drive? She likes this old Model A. She's like, shake, rattle, and roll. That's what I'm all about. Shake, rattle, and roll. Kind of hot though, isn't it? Okay, we'll throw a heat gun on it and see what the temperature is.
Gonna take me to go get ice cream later in it?
Yeah, we can go get ice cream. Maybe after it cools off a little.
What are you doing, Ren?
Getting happier and happier as it sits here and runs. So, you approve of the Model A? No. You approve?
I approve.
The ice cream giver?
Yep.
So yeah, we'll put the 32 carburetor on it and test it next and see how much gain there is there. Show you this 32 carburetor right off right here. So this is a stock Model A. This is a 32. You can see the throat size difference. They say they're 26% larger. So I'm curious to see how that works. So this test is 32 carburetor, high compression head, tuned and dialed. It's cooled down now, so we're getting kind of a cooler run. But we still have our headwind. Definitely smoother carburetors. There's 32 carburetors. So the 32 carburetor has an enrichment circuit in it. Maybe. Should set the idle up. Hand throttle on this car doesn't work very good because they've got the steering column flat down. So it's kind of like you got to keep throttling if it won't idle. Oh yeah, now we got the fuzz. Now we got the fuzz going. All right, so let's stop here our hole. And here's our speedometer. Hold on to that. What we got? 31, 32, 30. So we might have gained 1 mile an hour with the 32 carburetor. About 1 mile an hour with the 32 carburetor, so not a whole lot. They say it's 10%, so that's about 4 horsepower. Well, that wraps up this modification on this old Model A. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.